Yay, you are live. Yay. And I am here today with Molly Stone Bibb. Yay.
Hey, everybody.
Half of what we like to call Formidable Four. I think the formidable word was my dumb idea, and that you guys wanted fabulous, but I was like, do you call yourself fabulous? But formidable's too hard for people to get.
Formidable. I don't know. I like Formidable Four, and people remember it. People remember it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well,
that's okay.
Yeah, so anyway, let's talk about that for a sec, because that was funny. Good morning. For those of you who are on Facebook, you have to give permission for StreamYard to put your name. So whoever just wrote good afternoon, ladies, we don't see who that is. So you may want to write your name or give them permission, because we're not seeing it.
Do that so we know.
Georgiana Haynes, yay.
Yay.
And that's Phyllis Labrandy, yay.
Phyllis.
I like to point to our Formidable Four alliance when I'm telling people as a work strategy, because none of us are in each other's core business downline. So Avon is our core business, all four of us. It's Teresa, Paul, you, me, and Lisa Scola. Yeah. And none of us are in each other's Avon downline or upline in any way. And I think here comes the kid home from school. Yeah, welcome to my chaos, right? So I think that's so important. Yes, I'm live. Yes, okay. Hi. The dog needs to go out. Okay. Ooh, right. But I think it's important. Oh, Janet's on from Ireland. Hey, Janet.
Hi, Janet.
What?
Lunch wasn't as bad as it better.
Oh, good. I am live here with a bunch of people, though.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm
talking. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's so awesome, really. But anyway, I think it's important to have partnerships with people that are not your upline or downline, like colleagues, because I know we don't like to admit it, but we are a little bit competitive with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, especially for me, because of the four of you, I'm kind of bottom of the totem pole, coming up here last. So
I don't think so. As far as what?
Business-wise, I mean, yeah, everybody's been in longer than me, but I really get to I'll watch what you do, and I'll watch what T does, and I'll watch what Scola does, and I'll be like, I just like Scola's the next one, so I'm like, I just got to get to where Scola is. I got to do what Scola, do some of the stuff she's doing, and then I'm like, but wait a minute, T's going up, and then I look at you, and I'm like number 5 in the country, and I'm like, I'm coming for you, Wilby, I'm coming.
It's funny. I never really ranked us like that, but all I can think about is remember the $15,000 incentive that we had a few years back? I did not want to be the one that didn't get it out of the four of us. I did not want to be the one.
Me neither. I was like, right. That happened. Yeah, that was great. I think that was one of the best incentives they ever had, ever.
Oh, what?
I worked so
cash is always my favorite. Yeah,
wow.
Cash is always my favorite.
Yes,
yeah. But I think it's important to have colleagues that aren't necessarily on your team, because it's the way I feel about, I just came back from some other company's convention. I rep for them, but it's a side hustle. But because I heard speakers that we haven't had in our company, I've met people that I wouldn't have met. You know what I mean? So I think it's the same with this. If you only stay with your own downline or your own upline, you only hear the same ideas that they've been telling. So I think it's important.
I think so too. And look, there's a lot. I know you guys, of course, are my absolute besties, but there are so many other people that we may not talk all the time about business, but I absolutely follow them to say, look what they're doing. And again, I think the big thing is consistency. I follow people who show sure signs that no matter what's going on in their life, they do their best to be consistent, because we know that that's the only thing that keeps this building. Is you can't say, oh, I'm going to take 2 months off. I mean, it's just like with my surgery. I'm very blessed to be a part of direct sales. I believe that, and things like this make me very thankful because some people aren't bringing home a paycheck at all. But here I am. I have a 6 to 8 week recovery process, and yet I can still be there for my team. I can still be there for my customers. We have the direct sales where people can just buy. And they just split my insides open, but you know what? I was still did what I had to do before I went in the hospital, and I still had a $1,500 personal order. So you can, but you like everything, you got to plan for it. So I watch people, they inspire me that like they're taking care of their parents, they've got a sick kid, whatever it is, but they are still working their business. I think about you with Grammy
Thank
when you
you.
were trying to get removed. There was so much going on in life,
Thank
and
you.
yet, you know what? Your business still went on, and that's what happens when you stay consistent. When you have to step away for a moment or two, it will consistently still roll for you. So I love that.
Well, I think you have to. I mean, to me, work is my sanity anyway, because I've lived off this since 1987. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I must have been a wee child, a wee child. But anyway, so I've right. So I've literally worked through and lived off of this through building two houses, getting a divorce, adopting an
Great.
infant. All
Great.
that stuff happened while this was going on, and you had a whole bunch of stuff happen, and yet
Yeah.
we made sure every day that we did something,
Right. Isn't
something
it
that was.
amazing, Wilby? Don't you feel like through your whole career, especially when you were sharing the opportunity, you will find people who say, "My life is a mess," or I am too busy for anything like that. But I find that when I came to Avon, I was at my best hot mess that I'd ever been. I was going through a divorce. I lost my home. I had to move in the basement of my brother's, but here I knew I needed more income. So I decided to give this a chance. I still had 2 other jobs, so this was my 3rd hustle. And I'm just like, I feel like people who know how to manage their families, they have a job, there's a second job, maybe they're bartending, there's a 3rd job, maybe they're stripping. Who knows what they're doing? But the point is,
Stricken.
those people are the ones who figure out that in times of need, like for me, surgery comes up, whatever it is, that I find that when things are sometimes at their most troubling, that Avon is the only thing that I can hold on to. My hustle is the only thing I have that I do have control to keep working it no matter what. So it has been a win-win for me over and over again. When Earl was hurt in that accident and he got hit in the eye with that high-powered tool, I wasn't even a bronze executive then. I think I was what is considered a gold leader now, but I still was not complete full-time for Avon. But where my main job wasn't paying me because I took off to be at Hopkins, I was still getting that check from Avon for leadership. And that was the first time it hit me that no matter what, because what I had done for so long, it was helping me take care of the bills that were most important. So that, I don't know, things like that, I feel like some people don't give it enough time to see that when you build it and you do it consistently, what it can mean to you in one way or another. And for me, it's been great because when you're kind of drugged up in the recliner and you don't got a whole lot you can do, you're like, you know what? This has worked for me. So I just yeah, I think
Well,
direct sales is a great niche.
what's funny is people say to me, and I'm sure they do to you too, is I didn't have time to work my business. Do
Mhm.
you have time to go to a job? If
Yep,
this is work. You're not doing it
yep.
for like I don't have time to crochet. It's not like that. This is a business.
Right.
And for those, okay, this is my soapbox moment. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? For those who say they don't need the money because their spouse works, you have like a 95% chance that at some point you're going to have to support yourself.
Right.
So you might as well be prepared because I've seen it get dirty and ugly. And you and I both have seen it in many of our
Yes.
colleagues. Somehow, either the spouse ran off, or he died, or he's incapacitated. And then suddenly the woman has to step up to the
Yep.
plate and sometimes support both of them, sometimes just themselves, and can't do it right off. And it's like, if you'd only taken the time to work your business more now at the beginning every day, you'd be in a position where you could just take over.
It's
And it's
such
like,
but what you're saying is 100%. I mean, Wilby, even when I came to Avon, no, look, I was working full time when I found Avon in 2004, but I had decided that this marriage wasn't working. And yes, my ex-husband was the main breadwinner. And yes, I had to move in to my brother's basement for a good time. But here's the deal. That instant taught me that I never want to have to depend. I mean, when I met Lee, long before he was diagnosed with his vision problem, um, long before Lee became our blind guy, Lee had a great job. He had this great job. He was making, 60, 70, 80,000 a year. But even during all of this, when that happened, immediately talk about life just stopping because within 6 months, Lee couldn't drive anymore. And yes, they worked him from home, but it was for less hours. And we were being affected by that. And my thing was, we need to build this business because we can't let things like this affect our livelihood. I mean, look, things come up like my surgery, which would affect everybody, whether you have insurance, whether you don't. But having a roof over my head and us eating and us paying our electric bill, I wanted to make sure there was something I could depend on. And yeah, it's been a lot of years getting us to that place, but I didn't wanna have to depend on if Lee lost this, if Lee and that is what happened, so we kicked it in overdrive when we knew that was gonna happen within matter of fact, that's the year, if I'm not mistaken, that we actually earned the Alaskan cruise, and I made senior executive because we knew we had to do something to be able to compensate for what he wasn't gonna be making anymore of no fault of his own.
well, and for those people listening, don't wait for that to happen.
That's right. That's the
Get in
key.
overdrive now before you
Yes.
have a need.
Yes.
And don't sit there and say, well, you know what, I hear this a lot too. My husband doesn't really want me to work, but it's not him that you'll have to save. It's yourself. And you'll
Yes.
help him by being able to help yourself, I think.
Yes. And I always
No matter what
wonder
they say now, always being able to support yourself is a good thing. I don't
yeah, and
see
stop and men, if you're listening, quit being threatening. Quit being threatening. Quit
really.
look, you know what Lee
Well,
says?
I
Lee's
don't
so
think.
funny. Lee's
I
funny.
think some men think that it takes away their power. Maybe I don't. What is it?
I don't
I
know,
don't
but
know.
when I knew I had the right husband this time, because he was like, even when he was making the highest that he had ever made, when he knew what I wanted to do with this, he was like, "Go ahead. I can help you do the books. Is it going to bring in more money?" So see, he was like, if there is a way to bring in more money, he was more than happy to do that and let me do my thing or help or whatever. And that I think that the men in our lives should want to see us grow any way we want to, whether that's independent, whether that's extra money, whether it's feeling like we're helping our family too. Kudos to all the wives who are cleaning the house, take care of the kids. I know I did it. I did it. I worked with it. But there's something about this building something that's your own that really empowers you immensely.
Well, and it's better that a husband buys insurance thinking that's going to solve the problems if he dies. The reality is the problem would be solved if a woman can support herself with
Yes.
her income, because
Yes.
the life insurance is a one-time payout and it's
Yes.
not likely to support you for years.
Right. Right.
So you're better off to have a way to bring on
Yeah.
income. I like what Cynthia Pilkington wrote in the comment. She said, "This is so true that you need to work as if you are the breadwinner."
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and
and
when you
I
both do
talk
that, you're both better. That's what I
right.
don't understand. You're both better for
Well,
it. But
and I
don't
know,
do what I did. I was convinced I couldn't be more. I was convinced I couldn't have more. And then when I took the
right.
leap and did the right thing, I had to spend all these years, which I'm not going to lie, I honest to God wish that I had looked at Mary Ann's recruiting flyer sooner with all those 15 years she was my rep, that I had said, boy, this could really just be a cool side hustle for me. I wish that I had had the foresight to say, man, this could be really good down the road. Instead, I'm a hindsight person who says, oh, I wish I had done it sooner. So for many of you, if you're watching this and you're really new at this or you've been dabbling, start doing more than dabbling, because I'm telling you, it can only benefit you right now to do this and jump in with both feet.
Well, it's not just the company we love, but there's direct
Any
sales. The
company.
industry is
Yeah. Look,
awesome.
I got girls who are
Yeah.
killing it, and Unique and Limelight and
Yeah.
Tupperware, all of
All
these. And
kind
the
of
point
different.
is, whatever
Yeah.
your thing is, don't just dabble, jump in, because I have direct sales friends from all over. And what they get, I mean, look, I look at Jen for paparazzi. Look what she's doing with that.
Oh, I love watching her.
$5 jewelry, and I love the
I love
jewelry.
watching
I'm
her.
one of her customers. But the point is, when you find what is fits for you, work it with a passion. Don't work it like a hobby. Work it till it pays for that steak dinner you take your man out for, that it pays for your electric bill. You need to feel like no matter what happens in life, you can be okay because of your business. That's how I feel.
You know what's funny? I've even met so many people that they can't tell me what their bills are. They're letting their other spouse, and that's not just all women, they're letting the other spouse deal with everything.
Yeah.
And there's a problem with that, because statistics show that if you're at some point going to have to tote your own load. I don't know how else to say
Well,
it.
truer words
So,
you really couldn't be truer, because honestly, my first marriage, my first husband could not have told you what the bills were that I was attempting to pay, rather. And we were not like way good off in all of this. We were living paycheck to paycheck like everybody else, but he couldn't have told you anything. And although I'm the person now who, does the bill paying, there isn't a bill that Lee and I don't both know about that we are consistently together saying, what can we do together to get this paid off? What can we do? So this whole thing with whether it's a woman or the guy who just says, oh, well, that's your thing or that's your thing, that's a setup for not a good thing on either side.
right.
I just think that no matter what kind of a relationship you're in, I think you should know that the line that you're towing is important, and you can take care of your kids all day long, but it's not going to pay for the mortgage if something happens to that person or the relationship breaks up. So do everybody a favor, do yourself a favor, do your kids a favor, do your future a favor, and really, really give whatever you're doing a chance, because
Yeah,
I'll
even if
give
it's
you
a
the
regular
proof that
small
it can do
business,
it.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, I'm stunned lately because I've met now. I had adopted an infant who was just here a minute ago that is now not an infant, now 16. Anyway, we're going out driving this afternoon.
Oh,
Yikes!
fun.
Wish me luck. But anyway, when I did, I end up interacting with a lot younger women, like in their 20s. When I adopted him, I was 42. So the gap between me and most of the moms was about 20
Right.
years or so.
Right.
And I was stunned how many of them they say they're choosing to be at-home moms with no income.
Yep.
But they all have the same, they're complaining their husband don't give enough money. But I'm like, I'm not sure that's a good idea, because then when your husband gets to be 45 and loses his mind and runs off with a 20-year-old, then what are you going to do? I don't know. That's not a very good example, I suppose. But
well, you know what? It happens. It may not be. People now gonna be like, "Oh my God, Lisa told me my husband gonna rent off with something." Don't go.
It could be anything.
That's not true. But
we know one of
but
our
it does
colleagues
happen.
where the guy got smushed by a riding mower
That's exactly right. That's exactly. There are so
out
many
of the blue. He was
instances.
just on
Yep.
on the
No
board and it
reason.
rolled
And
over him.
it's not always because the person gets sick. It can be
Yeah.
a car accident. It takes, it can be an accident, which, by the way, like Susan Broderick, who is also a sister rep, was sharing for the longest time about her nephew who was simply up in a tree doing his tree business, and something happened and fell wrong, and the thing hit him in the head. He was in the hospital forever. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
fine before then. But when I think about instances like that in a moment that nobody is expecting, so not only are there huge medical bills now, but he was at a work commission, and when he didn't work, there was no money coming in. How great is it to know that if that happened to you, that you were able to say, whew, we are so glad that the important stuff, whether it's the mortgage or the rent or the electric or the car payment, guess what? I have built this. We can take care of this part of it. So it's huge whether you're working as a team or you're working separately. No matter what it is, it's always good to build something else that you'll be okay.
I think that's what I like about network marketing is that the checks, you know what I mean? I always told Liza she does a lot of my admin work, like send out welcome kits and the
Right,
certificates
right.
and stuff. And I said, if anything happens to me until you get the stuff straightened around where my nephew comes up and takes over, you weekend at Bernie's this crap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Pop me up in the chair and keep rolling because we got a system here that somebody else could put themselves and make this keep running.
Yep.
So the checks would keep coming for my kid.
That's exactly, and that's what's important. I mean, look, it's horrible to say, but I did have those thoughts, Wilby, when I was going into the hospital on the 7th. Some of my calm was, I talked to you about this, so I can be transparent, worrying about what happens. I'm such a caregiver in general. What happens if I don't make it through this surgery, if something unforeseen happens? Or is Lee going to be okay? Is Anne going to be okay till they can figure out? And one of the great things for me was that even if something were to happen to me, we have built something that Lee would be okay until he knew what it was he wanted to do if that were to happen. And to me, that was something huge. Does it take care of all the problems? No, but we have built something sufficient enough that Lee would have been okay because that network marketing check was coming in no matter what. Thank God.
I was
Either
afraid
that
you
or
were
he's
gonna
coming to live with you, girl. He was coming to live with you,
I was afraid you were going to say we were all calm and okay because we knew Lee was going to Lisa's house, and I'm like, no.
Well,
Oh God.
I was going to add
High
it.
maintenance man. That's what we call Lee. High maintenance
Yes,
man. Oh
that's
my
right.
Lord.
Hey, you
Yeah.
could do. I always said that if something went sideways, you can rent him out because disabled. He's a blind guy. You can get on the plane first. You're good. I used to do it all the time. I'm like, I think to get on the plane first, just like he my kid, because we get to get in and get our seat together. It's a good thing. It's a win-win.
Well,
Rent him out all over the country.
I'm rooting for him though, really, because our little tiny home, Golden Girls Village, you and me and Stola and Teresa are doing. Well, one of the husbands has to make it in the long run because we need someone to lug our crap around. So I'm actually rooting for him. He's the biggest one.
That's right.
He can lug the most stuff.
He's going to
So,
take care. He's the strongest of the bunch of us, so we need him there. Yes, for sure.
yeah, lug the stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Nita said we're all a mess. We know.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes, I
Oh,
admit it. Hot mess.
well,
Right here.
as
Hot
long as we touched on it, let's some of the point of this live was we wanted to give everybody an update on where you are. No snot bubble crying.
Yes, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, but you reel
Okay.
me in. Just do that
So-
thing and reel me in if it happens.
We'll
'cause you know
start
me.
way back because some people haven't met you
people
that
don't know.
listen to this.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So in May, after finding something on my side, a bump on my side that hurt, whatever, seemed like a little growth or something. It wouldn't go away. It got worse. I went to the emergency room. They ended up doing CAT scans, ultrasounds, and they found out that on my kidney, I had a mass. They could not tell me if it was cancerous or not, and we wouldn't know that until there was surgery. They sent me to the oncologist. Of course, I'm like, wait a minute, but is that the thing on my side? And they're like, no, we don't know what that is. But in the end, divine intervention showed me that I had this. Went to the oncologist, went to the urologist, and they all said it was caught very early. But it ended up that by the time I got in to see the specialist at Wake Forest Baptist down here in North Carolina, that was July. So I waited from May to July to see him. And then he scheduled surgery for October the 7th. Hardest 5 months to date in my life. I mean, everybody I was conversing with, it just, you feel like life stops. I look at it now and you're just like, what's going to happen? Everything's in the air. You don't know if it's cancer. On top of that, I didn't have health insurance. And not that it probably would have mattered. I mean, the hospital probably would have loved it because they would have gotten something from the insurance, but I still would have been left with like this huge medical bill. We knew it was going to be, with everything, the entire bill was going to be close to $150,000. A few days before the surgery, we got a call from finance that said that they wanted $33,000 before the surgery. And of course, I lost my mind. Everybody, of course, had been praying for complete healing, that the bills were to be paid. They had started a GoFundMe, Phyllis and Teresa and you, and all of you had started a GoFundMe, and people were giving to that. People were giving through Venmo. In the midst of, I had a donor that came up that said that they were going to donate $10,000 if it could be matched. At the time, we had raised 10. This donor said they would donate 10,000 if everybody else as a community could donate the additional 10,000 that was needed. And they know they didn't just do that, it was above and beyond. So that was like so great. So we were able to give them the deposit that they wanted. And we went in, of course, and had the surgery on the 7th. And they got the mass out. It was cancer. But they were able to get it all. The markers all looked good. They were able to take less of the kidney than they thought they would have to. And he was so pleased with everything he found and didn't find. And the other crazy thing, Lisa, is that he said, Molly, I want you to know, we told you if we could find this lipoma, if it was right there, we would take this out too. The thing that initially took me to the emergency room. And he said, I went in there. We were not going to cut you again. The surgery was invasive enough. He said, but I couldn't locate it. So I don't know if when I was in there and we were cutting flesh and took fat out, whatever that was to get to the kidney and move everything, I don't know if I just took it out and didn't know it. He said, but we couldn't find it.
Wow.
He said, medically, I'm trying to give you an explanation of what happened. And, as usual, I smiled and I was like, well, whatever that was, let us know that there was cancer there. And I said, that was God. And I said, so if you didn't find it, whatever you need to put in your report, that's okay. But I know what happened. He said, do you feel it? And I said, well, Doc, what do you mean, do I feel it? Like, I don't feel nothing but pain. It's a week after the surgery. I look like I've been harpooned. I said, I get everything swollen. I don't know. And he said, if you do, we'll obviously take a look then. But I was like, wow, that was crazy. So they want to take this out. And I'm like, it's not there. And I thought, no, all these people praying for me, all these people being a part of the process, it's gone. So how thrilling was that to find that out? Then
I didn't know they'd take extra stuff. You said they took some fat stuff.
You could have gone in the other side and taken a little bit more. I mean, if you want to take the fat out,
any fat you find, go ahead. You can have it.
I'm like, I didn't know you were able to do that. He goes, well, we had to like move everything around in there. So and I'm like, dude, Okay, you could have taken 5 more pounds. It would have been, but it's okay. Yeah, I mean, he could have, but yeah, I was actually a little bit like, thank you so much. That's a little bit more I don't have to lose. Thank you.
Yeah, take whatever you like.
Yeah, take whatever you want. Go ahead, I'll donate it. So we got home. Look, I'm a little over 3 weeks.
Do you have to get
Recovery.
anything else? Do you have to get radiation or anything else?
I do not. The last
Awesome.
part of what he said was, we are so confident with what we got. You will need no chemo. You will need no radiation. We will keep a check on the kidney that we had to perform this on. He said every 3 months until we see that your kidney labs are all good. And he said, then we'll move it to 6 months. Then we'll move it to a year. He said, and he said, and there's a 1% or less chance that this cancer will ever come back. So
Whoa,
you
that's awesome.
talk about finding something. I don't care look, y'all, there are people out there who say there is no God. They don't believe in God. God's not cool. I'm telling y'all, you cannot hear my story, and I'm not done. You cannot hear my story and tell me that this is not some sort of divine intervention. It all has been. And every time I tell somebody this story, they're like, you've got to be kidding. So, okay, so now I finally get the surgery and I get through all that, and I'm healing now, and I still have 3 to 4 more weeks to go with that. And I'm very impatient. So God's working with me with that. I'm frustrated. I want to get back to the cooking shows. I want to get back to doing what I want to do. It's coming. I'm better than I was for sure, but still a struggle. I was able to give out candy for trick-or-treating last night. I was so happy. And I fixed my first meal last night since everything. Lee was so happy I finally cooked.
Oh,
so he was happy. So I'm making progress. But the real kicker here, Lisa, is the fact that this whole tribe, this whole village, everybody who follows us, my family, everybody's family. I mean, I had people, Teresa Paul's mom. I mean, people who I feel like don't even know me, but they know somebody who knows me. All these people were giving. And it was, I knew that the hospital initially, right after the surgery, wrote off, they wrote off a little over 30,000 of it. And I was happy with that. That was okay. We had paid him 33. It was that. I knew we were going to be left with like probably 35 or 40,000 after everything that we would have to make payments on. And everybody kept saying, Molly, we're praying that all this is going to be taken care of, that when everything is done. Plus, I had all the medical bills from the emergency room and all, Lisa. It was crazy. And people have still been giving. I mean, like, I'm opening up envelopes with checks, with cash, things hitting my Venmo account, people giving to the fundraiser. And 2 days before I talked to you over the weekend, we got the bill in from the hospital. And I'm looking at it like, do I want to really look at this? Because I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to create more pain. And when I opened the hospital bill, Lisa, they had written off an additional $35,000.
Oh, wow. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
And when it was all done, and Lee and I went through all the
reel it in, your chin's quivering.
payments and
Reel
everything. I know.
Your chin's quivering.
I know it is. I'm like, reel it in, Molly, reel it in. When we got done, we were able yesterday to make the last payment to the hospital, pay for the emergency room, pay for all the we are debt free. Debt free.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I mean, I will have payments. I will have to when I go for the visits, obviously, but you can plan for. And there was
there's some people, don't forget, that are still doing some donating for you, like Lisa Birch, who's watching, just set up a fundraiser today.
Yes, so, I saw that. So I'm like, how could I not believe that that's going to be taken care of? Because look at what just happened. We started with $150,000 bill. that we were so grateful to the hospital when we knew, because we didn't have insurance, that they would probably knock some of it down, but they did. But then to see that they knocked that down, and when we looked at what was left and we started paying, to know that we had not only the bills were paid, but the first visit when I go in January, that's already spoken for. The money is there and people are still, I mean, God is good. And when you wonder, stop it, Molly. Lisa's going to hate
Really,
you. Stop
really,
it.
really.
I know.
Hey, your
When you
chin's
wonder,
quivering. Knock it off.
you know,
Okay,
you
reel it
become
in.
a part of something and you say, why was I bought to this company, or all these people in social media following you? And I'm a firm believer now that this was all for a reason. You all, Teresa, the Avon world, everybody around it, God knew. And this has been a blessing. So if you're watching and you donated and you were part of this miracle all the way around, man, God is going to bless you in some way. I don't know how, but you were a part of this miracle for the last 6 months. Whether you sent me a card to support me, whether you sent money, whether you prayed, no matter what that looked like, you were a part of this. If you did any of that, and God heard it, and when he decided to show off, he showed off big. He showed off big. He showed off with finding it. He showed off with my doctors and surgeons. He showed off with the bill. He has showed up going forward. And he could have just healed me, but he didn't. He used all these people in my life, all these people who know me, who know you, everybody who decided to take a step to try to support one way or another, no matter what that looks like. This, when you can do it, and you can do it as a tribe, and you can do it with love, and you can do it with a giving spirit, when this happens, this is the stuff that changes the world. It does. This makes me believe that no matter how much social media wants to tell us how bad people are and how bad things are, this story right here proves to me every day that there are good people in the world. And when people love, they love big, and God shows off when that happens. So it's huge.
And you know, for those like Lisa Bird that just started the fundraiser,
Right.
don't think that's unneeded now, because you still have a bunch of stuff you need to pay
Oh,
for.
I do. I
Right.
mean, I
So
just, there
that's
are
awesome.
things coming. The next year is going to be filled with follow-ups. And, I had somebody who told me the other day, well, everything that comes in with my e-orders, you're going to get that part of it. And I thought, wow. And I said, you don't have to. And she says, I know I don't have to. She says, but I feel led to. And when people say, I still feel led to give, I still feel led to do this, to pray or whatever, I am not going to stop that, because, even Lee and I, even though we're looking into policies for me for the future, it's not going to cover anything regarding this. And until I'm 6 months free of no checks, they will not. There's no insurance company that'll cover any part of my kidney thing.
Well, and truthfully, for all the judgy McJudgies out there, I pay $700 a month for insurance for me and the kid. I got big giant deductible, so if that had happened to me, I'd have the same problem.
Right.
Maybe not as big, because they would cover some of it, but you still, if you have something big bad happen, even with insurance, I'm not going to pay out thousands a month so that it covers everything. That's just not practical. Right. So most people that have insurance, there still would be a problem.
It would be. And you know what? And they're not so apt. I hate to say this, but when you have insurance, what it's proven to me is they're not going to, I feel like there's almost more sympathy from a hospital for somebody who doesn't have insurance, because they not only wrote down once, they wrote down twice. And it really, when you think about it, you're going, they can get how much for, this and that. I mean, insurance is crazy, but if I had had insurance at the time, I probably would have gotten stuck with at least 17 or 18,000. And to be honest, 18,000 looks as bad to me as 40,000 because I didn't have the 17, far less have the 40,000. So this is stuff that happens to people every day, no matter what their insurance costs, that there seems to be medical debt because we don't have the best insurance system out there. And if you have deductibles because you can't pay 3,000 a month, it happens. But I'm here to say that all of this to me shows, I mean, the direct selling world, the network marketing world, I believe is a world that is so different from anything else, because when you're in that world, and I know people can call it whatever they want to, but people really support your journey no matter what you're going through. And I think that's huge because, Lisa, I had corporate personnel who are retired. They're no longer a part of Avon. And these people were donating. This person was contacting this person. And when they found out, reps who are no longer reps any longer, but they still follow me on Facebook, whatever that is. And these people were getting cards, and they're like, I don't know if you'll remember me. I sold Avon and this, but I've always followed you and still do. Those things that say it's not just the company, it's what we all believed in each other. And it is something that when you're a part of it, you can't help it. When you dig in, it grabs a hold of you, and I really can't imagine not being a part of network marketing. I can't imagine that not happening.
It's funny, our industry just makes it easier to be a go-giver, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We seem to bond together more than
Yeah.
normal. Yeah. Although I do know some teams that their strategy is just stay within their own little team.
There are.
But I think that's the unusual ones that I've seen. I think more people are
Now, I
giving.
look, I hate to say it, Lisa. I think I will believe this forever, especially in our Avon world, because that's our number one thing. I believe that the Formidable Four, plus a few other people, including Carla Lytle, and even with JP and all was with us in Avon. I know they've moved on. But when I believe that we were all a part of saying this whole thing with just keeping it to your team, this does not help the company as a whole. There is enough out there for everybody. And when we started sharing and doing our live streams, and everybody had their own day, and we shared our files and we shared what we did from start to finish, I believe that had a huge impact on the Avon world, because people realized, people who didn't have an upline suddenly felt like they were a part of something, because we were all out there sharing. And next thing I know, this person's sharing, that person's sharing, this person's opening up their group. This is happening. People are to help each other. And I just feel like that has been a huge part of why our company has grown the way it has, because you're never in this alone. Whether you join with a team, maybe you don't have a upline that maybe you connect with or whatever, that doesn't mean you can't be successful. You grab onto a group, you follow some people, they share, and then you go forth and you do it. And you're never alone in this business. And I think that has been huge in our world. I think it's made an immense difference.
It's funny. I think, and it deserves a mention. I think we have the same feeling on this, I hope. But I think customers or team members or whatever it is, if they're doing what's right for them, that's what I want for them. I no
Yes.
longer try to talk people back to doing this. I say, I want you to do whatever is best
Yep.
for you, because I know that if they're meant to come back to me, they will. And
Yes.
they will have a more positive experience if I gracefully let them do what's best
Yes.
for them at that
Yes.
moment. It's the ones that I think I don't know, try to overcome their objections for doing what's right for them. You know, I
Well,
think
you
have to
see it
let
all the
people do what's right
time.
for
I know
them.
you see it in Onward. Somebody will go, they'll make the grand exit announcement. Oh, I'm leaving Avon. And then I'll watch 16 people go, oh no, why would you do that? And my thought is not mean. My thought is, guys, if somebody knows this isn't for them, whether we like it or
Right.
not, one, we should respect it. Maybe it's just not their time yet with us,
Right.
but
Right.
they will figure it out. And you can't spend all this energy trying to keep someone and make them want to do something that they don't
No.
feel. I mean, it's like, look, I have leaders on my team that they are hot in the business 55% of the time. And in the other part of the time, they're not so hot, but then they're frustrated when they don't make Hawaii, when they don't make the Dominican, when they don't do the $100 my way.
You get farther along being
Yeah,
mediocre 100% of the time.
yes,
They
yes.
go hot, cold, hot,
Yeah,
cold.
I'm just like,
Oh,
you gotta,
that's
the
tough.
hot cold is never going to move. It's going to stagnate you. And then when you go, I'm not making any money. And I'm like, well, let me go back here and tell you the times you didn't place an order. Let me tell you, you know, what happened here. Can you tell me, well, this and this and this? Well, as long as you let all those things move you away from where you want to be, it's never going to get any better for you. It is definitely a decision that you say, this is for me. I'm not saying I couldn't go somewhere else right now and be successful with other things. Absolutely, I could be. But when you know, I've watched people leave Avon and go to other places, and I see a new happiness, a new light in them. And for me, there was a time years ago that I would go, well, that sucks. Go ahead, be with that company, whatever. Very judgmental. I admit it. I was. But
You were
now
judgy
I
McJudgy?
was judging me. Yes, I was years and years ago. I thought, how dare they leave and just want to go to this company? And now my deal is, if you're not happy, you're not going to be successful. So you go, I want to support you and whatever is good for you, because then you're making way for me to bring somebody else in that really wants to be successful at this. And I wish people well, no matter where they go, if
Right,
that's
right,
their
right.
deal. Go
Well,
just,
no,
and
sometimes they
especially if
just,
it's a
yeah,
network marketing world, because I think
yeah.
that's a big, huge thing for sure.
And sometimes it's just they are a better fit there or whatever.
They are.
That's
They
just the
are.
way it
Yep.
is. Somebody wrote on here, I have a friend who is a representative that doesn't get any help from her upline. The reason I wanted to read that comment is because if you don't have a good upline, be a good upline.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I don't even have one. You
Yes.
happen to have a good one, but
Yeah.
it's like
I
parents.
do, but
Sometimes
of
you
the
get
other
good
three
ones,
in the
sometimes you
Formidable
don't.
Four, you don't. They can't use it. I can say, yes, I've had Mary Ann Penn, and when Ray Penn
Yep.
was alive in here, felt like I had believe me, the best of the best to join under. But
Oh, that's right. You're the only one that has an upline.
yes,
Oh, I
none
didn't
of
even
the
think
three of
about
you
that.
do.
Yeah,
No,
I never
no,
even thought
you
about
don't.
that. Yeah.
So, but you all are the ones that I learned that from. And that was one of the reasons that I felt so moved to start sharing with everybody when I started Onward No Matter What, is because I do believe that people like to feel they're a part of things. In most cases, they do. But that doesn't mean you have to have an upline. You can be a part of things and make some of the best friends in your life. You can be in some of the best live streams, and you can be part of the tribe. You may not be a part of my team, but you can be part of the tribe, and we all support and we all want to help you. We don't want to enable you. We don't want to give you a hand out. We want to give you a hand up. But if you're willing to take responsibility of your business and what you want and your goals, we are all here to help. So to say that you don't have help from an upline or you don't have a good upline, that's a cop out. That doesn't mean you can't be successful,
You
because
could
I
just do it
watched
yourself.
my three biggest people with you and T and Scola, and you all have all done it without an upline.
You know what's funny? That's the other thing I want to say is what is the learning tricorn thing is learn it,
Yep.
teach it, do it,
Yep.
learn it, do it, teach it, however you
Yes.
want to do it.
Yes.
So I actually often speak outside of our company
Yeah.
just because I get asked to. So I just did one the other day for a Color Street friend of mine. I did a little marketing presentation, and I
That's
spoke
so
at
cool.
the Discovery Toys convention in August.
Right.
But to me, it's not necessarily, it helps me to teach it
Yes.
too.
Yes.
And I think it's funny, I do get grief from that. I get grief from other leaders saying I shouldn't do that, but
No,
to
and
me,
see, and
it
I don't
benefits me
believe it either.
too.
I don't believe it either,
Yeah,
Wilbur, because and the story is that's like saying everybody should be a doctor or a nurse, or everybody should be a police officer or a lawyer, okay? We are all made for different things, and our best selves come out with different things. And if I can help anyone, I don't care if it's somebody in another company, somebody in our company, no matter what that looks like, or just in life from what we've learned in life, it's all a part of it. And I believe that we are here to help and to love people no matter where they're at. And to think that I could take somebody who maybe was in Color Street or Tupperware, or I don't care if it was Mary Kay or who it was. And if I were speaking to say, let me tell you about my journey, not my company, my journey. And let me tell you that you are here in this company. This is what you think your fit is. You can get through all these things if you take these basic principles and you apply them
yeah.
to your life and business. If I can help them be a success in what they've chosen, I will take it every day of the week, whether it leads to our company or not, for sure.
And I think it's enlightened self-interest too, as Jim Rohn says, because it helps me to teach it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
learn by teaching it.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? It brings it home for me too. Janet says she's going. Thank you for popping on, Janet.
Bye,
Janet's
Janet.
my buddy in
Yeah.
Ireland. She
And
was
Lisa,
making a
we've learned from other people. Can we? I mean, Avon brings in people all the time that are not quote unquote Avon people. And by the way,
right.
a lot of them have been involved with a whole lot of companies over their past time. What they're teaching us is what they learned in their experiences through all those other companies. It isn't to get them to go to another company. So people need to stop with that. They need to stop. Look, I'm not saying there aren't people who do that. There are people who do that. It's all about them. It's all about poaching. That is not what I believe the majority of this is about. I believe that when you have life skills and business skills that can help enlighten somebody and it helps their journey, it is our personal responsibility as a person and a leader in this world to do that. I just do. So, so I'm hoping that people all around will stop thinking that because you share something that's good, bad, or indifferent, that it's going to take away from you or your team. The blessing of sharing with that is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So I love, you were part of what inspired me. I met you my second year in Avon, and you came, and Marianne and Ray had you come, and I know it was within the company, but you told us things in that meeting that Ray and Marianne could have never told us firsthand, because it was your experience, and you being the single mom running out with the money because they were going to cut the electric off. Those were all the things I felt. So as much as we laugh about these things now, when we talk about it, I could see me in the trailer park doing what you said you were
The
doing.
door shut off my
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
Yeah, oh God.
I was living downstairs in my brother's basement thinking, oh, please, God, I hope they're fixing something upstairs to eat because mama's hungry and so are
Oh,
the kids. So
oh,
I believe that had they not done that, I'm not saying I still wouldn't have been successful, but I knew that you were somebody long before social media that if I had a chance to hear you talk, I was going to, because every time it was beneficial to me and to my business, and to show me, Molly, you're on the right path. It takes time. Be consistent. Keep at it. Get back up. That's what it taught me watching you through all those years.
that's funny. So that's where I met you guys, must be.
Yes.
I didn't mean to not know that because
Well, that was my first thing. I just knew then. I told Ray, when I get bigger, I want to spend more time with her. And he said, you could spend time with her now. And I'm like, no, I couldn't. You see who she is? She's the Lisa Wilber.
Oh,
No,
come
that's before I
on.
knew you as Lisa freaking Wilber. And of course,
Well, that all
Ray
changed
was,
when we came to the first pig roast, I think.
that was huge. The first
That was
pig
the
roast
whole change.
that was so great.
Yeah.
That like
What was that,
changed our world.
2014? Was that
Yes,
14?
yes,
That seems so long ago, but yet
I
it seems like
know.
it wasn't. Yeah, that was
Yes,
fun.
for sure. It was the best time ever. Best time.
The
And by
kids
the
seemed
way, it
little
was the
back
best
then.
pig ever. That was the best pig ever. That man can roast a pig. Let me tell you,
Oh,
man,
and he
that stuff
came and
is
did the
good.
one this year too. I want to do
Ah,
that again. If we get to do Diamond Club Party again, I'm going to do that again because that was
That's yeah. Well,
awesome.
this time maybe I can show up and not be under surgery orders.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we had a good time. I think what we did different this time is I couldn't find a band on that short notice. So I had a
Oh,
DJ, but he was
he
awesome.
was good. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
then
so
instead of
cool.
the
I
apple
love it.
picker truck, I had a drone guy, and he was awesome. So I have some
Yeah.
new contacts, and we had the photo booth, which
Oh,
was
that's
that
cool.
was
We didn't
really
have that.
fun. No, that was really fun. I saw those things after we had the first one,
Right.
but that was fun. Yeah, looking back at the pictures of the first one and then this one, the kid was so little when you were up.
Yes. Yes.
And now the
Yes.
kid's like all grown up. Yeah, after I have a training after this, but then he's driving the car way up to
Oh,
Henniker
alert the
to the vet.
people in Weir, New Hampshire. Yes.
He actually is a pretty good driver. I'm pretty impressed. So far, this is like a chauffeur thing. I'm like, yeah. The only thing is I haven't really ventured into bringing him because we don't have lessons for like another 5 months or something.
Okay.
So I have only been bringing him like just to the school and down to Duncan, not into city traffic and stuff because I'm like, I think you should
Right.
probably have because I didn't take driver's ed or anything. I winged it. You know how I do it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
you
the
wing it
test.
all, Wilbur. I know.
I'm like, I'm gonna
I
take the test
know.
and see if I pass, and if I don't pass, I'll go back and study for it. That's what I did, and it was
Yeah, I
multiple
took
choice, so I
I was a
passed
good
it.
girl. I took driver's ed. Thank you. Mom and Daddy paid for me. I took it.
Oh,
I was a good
well,
girl. I did.
my mom said that this was a strategic error on their part, though. My mom's like, it was $100 for driver's ed. They wrapped up the $100 for Christmas and said, you can either pay for driver's ed with this or keep the money.
And
What
you
would
kept
you
the
do?
money. You kept the money. No,
And back
Mama
then
went
it
up and
wasn't.
paid for it. She never gave me that what if. Thank you.
Yeah, that way. But back then, it like now, if we did that, the kid would have to wait till he's 18 to get his license. Back then, that wasn't a requirement.
Right. Right.
So you could just go. Yeah, I was very fortunate that guy gave me a license back then. But
I feel like now kids need the roads are so much busy. It's so different now. I
yeah.
think they need the time on the road now. It just
Oh, you have to
language
have like 40 hours. It's a lot. We
yeah,
have an app that we're keeping track of it because it's a lot of hours that
right,
he has to drive with me. You know what I'm thankful for? And this is a company thing. In many of the direct sales companies or network marketing companies, they have a car allowance, but they make a lease payment on a specific kind of car.
right.
And I'm lucky that our company gives us money
Yeah.
because I'm not into cars in any way other than them being an
Yeah, I like that
advertising.
they call it a bonus, but it's so funny when people will
And what's
go,
in that lifestyle
you know,
bonus or something?
they confuse us with they confuse us with Mary Kay a lot. We know that where they have the
The
pink
pink Cadillac.
Cadillacs and everything. And when I was Ubering, I can remember them going, "Oh wow, well how come you don't have the pink Cadillac?" And I said, "Well, it's because my company just gives me money to get what I want. There's no taking
Yeah.
it back if I don't perform." And I said, "So you're riding in luxury here in this Uber thing with all the bells and whistles because they just give us some money to get what we want." And they're like, "Oh, okay,
Do
that's
you
much
know,
better because I didn't want to
I
get in
was
a pink car anyways."
I was at a meeting with a bunch of the seniors way back where some of the other guys were trying to make it so that we took a specific car, either a
Oh,
Lincoln or a Jag. And I said, now wait a minute, because I had the kid then, and I'm like,
Right,
listen, I have to
right,
pay the surcharge every time I have the car cleaned now because I've either got gum stuck to the seat or a McDonald milk under my
right,
seat for 3 months.
right,
And I
right.
said, I am not doing that to an expensive car. I'm driving a minivan. So
And I don't feel
luckily,
like it really worked with us. I don't know why I've always just viewed Avon as different, but when I look at most of them were moms trying to support their kids and get them back and
yeah,
forth, and
they don't want a
or if
luxury
you
car
were going
necessarily.
to division meetings, they wanted the bigger vehicle, the van, so they could take 5 of their buddies or team members
Yeah,
with them locally.
yeah.
I really felt like they got that right, not saying, "Oh, well, if you see a Jag, you know it's Avon," or, "Oh, if you see a Cadillac, you know it's Mary
Well,
Kay,"
not
or
everybody's
anything.
into vehicles. See,
Yes.
now I drive older ones. I bought them brand new, but I drive them for like 8 to 10 years. So
Right, right.
mine are older now. But I long ago paid them off with my car allowance, and now I pay the insurance and the gas or whatever every year without I virtually have no expense
Right,
because I
right.
just use that money. So I mean, I think it's important the flexibility.
I
That's
love that.
awesome.
They say, "Here you go. You put this where you want it." And sometimes when I look at my electric bill in the summer, very grateful for that extra bonus because I'm like, "Yep, we're gonna put that towards the electric bill. Thank you."
That's because you're where it's hot, right?
Yes, North Carolina can get hot.
Yeah,
Yes,
mine's
it
the
can.
opposite now because now we're coming to the expensive months of the year.
Oh
We're,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys like 30 below. What the heck is
oh,
that? Oh
well,
my
we don't have snow on the ground yet. I'm
God.
calling that a win.
I mean,
Win.
we've got 50 and 60s down here right now, but I'm loving that. That's nice. That's my
Yeah,
weather right
that's all
there.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah. We're my mom's already got killed by the frost.
Oh
So,
gosh.
but remember that what was it 3 years ago or 4 years ago? We had 12 inches of snow and it didn't go away till like April.
Yes,
I know
yes.
Bibb made fun of me about that
Every
forever.
time Lee talked to you, yeah, he would be like, "Watch this," and he'd be FaceTiming you, and be like, "Show me how much snow you got. Show me."
Oh, yeah, yeah. He makes fun of
I
me
love
wicked
it.
over
I
that.
love it. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
man. So, Bibb. So, I guess that's it. We're at 2. So,
Yes,
thank you for sharing your
that
news.
went.
If
Yes,
Lisa Bird's still on, I hope that she goes in the comments and shares her. She's got a fundraiser link where she has a Zazzle account, and if
yes.
you purchase something, all of the commissions are going to go towards Molly's bills.
And she has
So,
thousands of items on there.
and that's
Thousands of it.
awesome.
This isn't just like 10 items. I was looking through it. Thousands of items. I'm just like,
And
wow,
that's
there's and
awesome.
with right now with
Oh no, you froze up a little.
yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, back, yeah. So that is check it out. If she can put it on there, that's great. She's also put it in the groups. I
Yeah,
let
and
her
I'm going
put
to
it in Onward.
share the
So
link
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
that's
huge.
awesome. And so because you still could use a little boost because you got some bills coming up, and
Yeah, we do.
it'd be better to get through this without having that, dread over your head there.
Yes. I believe God's going to provide it just has like he has. And again, I say people when they hear me say that and they think that means there's going to be money falling from heaven. No, I don't think so. Some of the people that have donated to this, some of them are really a surprise. To be honest, I didn't think a lot of these people even liked me, but something moved them to donate and I'm very blessed for that. So I believe as the need comes, everybody's still praying and everybody knows what the need is. And you know what? I'm a believer because after what I've just been shown between financial and medical and where it can go, I'm just a firm believer that the power of prayer and God, it's going to be okay. I can tell you for the first time ever, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay and I'm going to get back to normal. I'm just impatient right now. And my plans are for anybody who's going to California. I haven't put it out there yet, but my plans
Yay!
are I'm registered and Lee and I are hoping to be there so we can see people for the first time in our Avon world in like 18 to 24
And there's
months.
going to be some shenanigans because I'm going too.
Oh,
There's
you
gonna
know
be
there's gonna
shenanigans.
shenanigans.
Yeah,
That's
there's
right.
gonna
That's
be
cool. I
shenanigans.
love
There's
it.
gonna be bib tipping because that's part of the deal. When I see Lee Bibb, there's bib tipping.
Molly, is it okay if I bang your husband? As she bangs into him. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just want to knock him over just once. But I mean,
Oh.
he's like way taller than me, so yeah. So
Yeah,
I
'cause,
just,
you know,
yeah.
if you hit him from the side, he never sees you coming. That's for sure.
You were warning him, and I didn't know. See, that's cheating. I want to do some bib tipping. Anyway, we're going to have some fun. So the last question I ask every guest on Monday Morning Madness. Now, I don't. Lee's birthday's coming up in November right away.
Lee's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh God! So they're
Yeah.
not going to get there in time because I'm late. But he's the brownie man, right?
Yes,
He's
he
the
loves
brownie
the
man.
brownies.
You're the cookie girl,
I'm
right?
the cookie girl. That's
Okay.
right. I'm the cookie
So
girl.
I will send you cookies.
Oh.
The dog, sorry.
Hi,
I
Bev.
will send you cookies as being my special guest. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you know I
And-
love the cookies. I'm all for that. Yes.
And I'm going to put this up on YouTube, of course. So
Okay.
thank you very much for filling in. I had a cancellation. Plus, we wanted to hear the update. So
Yes.
that
good
is so
deal.
awesome. Thank you for only having your chin quiver and not really snot bubble crying. I
See,
appreciate that.
I did good. I did good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So stay right there a minute. I'm going to stop the
Okay.
recording now, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.